find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the down pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start dropping. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn, so there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, look at the toss. He haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start chopper. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages. We are back with the Triple Bypass Racing League Galfay Music 212, sponsored by Chris PBJ Hannigan in that number 84. And it is round 4. It is live from Talladega, the most infamous super speedway on the NASCAR calendar. It can be great racing, it can be train wreck. It really does depend on which one you are going to get here this evening. But let's see what happens as we're going to tackle 80 laps of Dega. I am James Parfit, and I'm going to be joined by a lady today who is, you've probably seen her around a lot in YouTube chat. Generally, why she's supposed to be working, but don't tell anyone. It's going to be Ria Subro who will join me in the booth today. What we can do though, before we go anywhere else, let's have a look at the scores on the doors at the moment. After 3 of 12 races, it is Chris Hannigan out in front on 111 with Sean Bradley on 102 in second. Al Corey in third, who's on 93 points. Carl Gretsch in 4th on 87. Jason Benson on 83 with Mark Herzog on 82. Then we go into 7th place with Ben Harcombe on 80. John Campbell on 78. And then John Crutchley on 76. And then we finish off the top 10 with Zach Roethlisberger. We'll have a quick chat with Ria before we bring you up the recap from last time out as in Texas. Ria, welcome into the booth.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I will say I am in the stream a lot during work, but it's okay. I'm allowed to watch. I'm not allowed to type in the stream. So
really?
If you see me chat, no, you don't see me chat. It's not me.
Right, okay. Well, what we do, guys, is we're coming just to the end of practice. We'll have a quick look. Last time out at Texas.
On September 29th, 2023, the Triple Bypass NextGen Series roared into action at Texas Motor Speedway for the 3rd race of the season. This event was sponsored by number 78, Hen Barkham, and covered live by our friends at JPBroadcasting. The exciting race, spanning 105 laps, featured a competitive field of 18 drivers, with 6 different leaders and as many lead changes throughout the race. The pole sitter, Chris Hannigan, initially set a strong pace and led the pack. However, the race was far from over. Sexy Waltrip in the 27 car started in 8th position and made a spectacular 2-tire call for the green, white, checkered finish to take the win. Number 77, Sean Bradley, ran up front the entire race and finished in the runner-up position, while Chris Hannigan, despite relinquishing the lead, managed to secure an impressive 3rd place. Number 24, Matt Parasini, led almost the entire race, and a late race caution was not what he wanted to see. Al Corey in the number 45 machine completed the top 5. Notably, the race was remarkably clean with just 1 caution period, making tire conservation the big story of the day. With Sexy Waltrip emerging as the victor in the 2-lap dash to the end, the event lived up to its reputation for intense racing. We hope you enjoyed this Triple Bypass Next Gen Series recap, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, guys, that was last time out at Texas, and as I said, Carl Gretsch took the win with Sean Bradley in second and Chris Hannigan in third. We are into qualifying now as well. The guys will have about 3.5 minutes to set laps here. Now, we are looking at around about 50-second laps, so it's not very long at all. Here at Dega, we do have 80 laps fuel. Between 35 and 40 tyres. Well, they may get away with changing one set, or they may try and get to the end on one. But let's see what the opinion is, I suppose, from a driver of these cars. Ria, what do we think? Are they going to take tyres, or do you think they can get to the end on the set they start on?
Honestly, around Dega, 80 laps isn't completely insane to drive one set of tires. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of people, not taking the tires, but depending on, your cautions and stuff like that, you may see some people taking them, and it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to, go, like I said, 80 laps. There may be some people that even try just to change one side of tires, which at Dega is a perfectly sound strategy. But you might see a couple of different strategies.
Well, you never know. We may see somebody try it as well. They did talk about one stop on fuel, but that is going to be very, very tight and dependent on how much they, of course, fuel save as well. Don't forget today's race sponsor, the number 84 of Chris Hannigan, currently leading the championship. Is Chris. Of course, Chris is one of the commentators within JPB as well, and he does do the Triple Bypass Tuesday series. So don't forget, if you want to get yourselves involved, there are 4 nights of racing for you. Sundays is Gen 4s, Tuesdays is late models, Wednesdays you go road racing, and on Thursdays it is NextGen. Have a look at triplebypassracing.com and get yourselves involved. There is links down to the sponsor as well here, and you can go and check that out in the description below for our very own Galfay band. Galfay Music, actually, 212. That's what they're called. Galfay Music 212. So go and check them out. There is a Spotify link down below if you want to go and see what their music's all about. So there we go. Nice little bit of music for you there as well. The interesting thing is these guys have got 2 laps, right, to do around Dega. They've given them 5 minutes. Now, pretty much most people have already set their lap times. What do we think here in conjunction with racing? Are we going to be seeing 3 wide? Are we going to be seeing 2 columns? What do we think we're going to be looking at here at Dega with the fact that it is a super speedway?
Generally, you'll see people breaking out into 2 lines, but if they can get enough of a line going, you might see even 3 wide in a couple of corners, maybe a couple of laps at a time. But generally, the safer thing to do is 2 wide. But they're pushing. It is a league, so every point matters. So you might see a couple of people try and form a 3rd line.
Well, let's see if we do get that 3 wide racing as well that we have seen previously, and it went okay. It was a little bit shaky, but it went okay. 3 wide racing is always good here as well. We're coming into the last 5 seconds of qualifying. We will bring you up the grid very, very shortly as well once this gets over and done with, which it has done now. So we'll just wait for the grid to come through, and let's have a look. We've got Fred Anderson out in front with Carl Gretsch in second, Sean Bradley in the third. Then we've got Zach Roethlisberger fourth with Jason Benson fifth, Jared Jackson in sixth, Jeff Slaughter in 7th, Justin Bentley 8th, Chris Hannigan in 9th, Iris Ashby in 10th, Keith Hanlon in 11th, and Dustin Barton rounds out the top 12. Thomas Hood Jr. in 13th, Al Corey in 14th, Matt Harmon 15th, Derek Catt in 16th, John Campbell 17th, Ben Harcum 18th, Grant Parker in 19th, Morris Bogan in 20th, John Crutchley in 21st, with Chris Melton 22nd, Brandon Hinton 23rd, and Will Jester in 24th. And then we've got a 25 car field with Pete Dillon bringing up the rear. What do we reckon in conjunction with cautions, Rhea? Do we think we might see a bit of a caution fest that sometimes can happen on super speedways, or do we think we'll be okay? Because these guys are normally racing pretty well.
They normally are pretty good. This league doesn't tend to have a lot of cautions. The only issue is that cautions breed cautions tends to be quite true on super speedways. But you know, they're pretty clean. So I think we could get a couple. I'm gonna say we'll probably see maybe 2 or 3.
Okay, and so why is it more at super speedways we see more cautions than we would, for instance, sometimes if we go to Bristol we might not see any or anything like that? Why is it super speedways cause this initial caution precaution thing? Because surely, as long as you don't do anything crazy, right, it's just straight flat, keep it in line, and away you go.
It does sound a lot more simple than most of the other tracks, like the short ovals and such, but at that speed, even the slightest mistake is amplified so much more.
Is that because of the close pack racing, do we think? Is that because they're all racing so closely?
Yeah, it's a bit of that. Draft becomes a lot more effective. Even like a slight twitch in the wheels, so, you know, if you lose the rear end a tiny bit, going at those speeds is a lot harder to catch it.
And they are saying they are topping out around about 190 miles an hour. Okay, so we are going about 190 miles an hour. We are on this pace lap, as you can see here as well. Carl Gretsch out in front, Fred Anderson next to him, of course. Anderson is your lead car, so we will keep an eye and make sure that that goes back the other way. We are going to see that weird 90-degree angle of the pace car, which does fascinate me every time I watch it, because whenever I try and do that, it goes completely wrong. There he goes. Off he goes, but we are going to be up and underway very, very shortly. We'll wait for the cars to come into the top right-hand corner of your picture as they come around out into the tri-oval. Here they are now, 25 cars. I think we've actually got 24. I think we lost someone here as well. We're going to be up and running for the Galfay Music 212, and now it is green. These cars absolutely flying. We have settled into 2 lines. We've got Carl Gretsch out in front with Fred Anderson leading that bottom line. Roethlisberger, Bradley, Jared, Jackson and Benson here as well. They have settled into this 2 lines rear. This is what we kind of expected from the start. They've just got to be careful now, right? We don't want to caution already.
Yeah, definitely around the start, you're going to start seeing those 2 lines. It does look like we lost Will Jester. He's down a lap at the moment. But yeah, as to what you said, you'll see 2 lines. You're seeing a couple of people push already to try and go 3 wide. But at Dega, at any super speedway, you really just want to be patient because you're going to start losing the draft.
Yeah, the draft's going to be vitally important, right? We've seen it before when they haven't got any help, when they haven't got any pushing, when they haven't got any support up the front end. As soon as you come out, you hit a wall of air and you're just going backwards faster than you would be going forwards. That seems to be the problem. And that's one of the things I think we're going to be looking out for with this backpack here as well. The likes of Ashby, Corey, Jackson, Barton. You know, they've got to try and keep up, because otherwise they get split into the pack with Pete Dillon, John Crutchley, Brandon Hinton and Keith Hanlon, who are running in a 4-pack. So they've got to be a little bit smart about this. I know we said be patient and, you know, try and not push, but they don't want to be losing contact with the back of the pack. And I think that's one of the worrying things, is you can see the 39 car of Derek Catt, who's just going to get hung out like some dirty washing on a washing line here as well, unfortunately. And they're probably going to end up going backwards more than forwards. We talked before the broadcast started, Rio, and we said about the fact that bump drafting, a good thing if you can get it right, but it's a little bit disastrous if you get it completely wrong. Now, obviously, as a driver yourself, as a driver that drives these cars and does this wonderful bump drafting thing, what is one of the main challenges of bump drafting? Because at the end of the day, it takes a lot to get it right.
It does. It's a lot of teamwork from two people who are racing against each other. The person behind you pushing has to square up properly, or else they're going to spin the car in front, and the person in front has to be able to keep control of the car. And it's really hard to do, especially as you're being pushed further and further down a straight. The car starts to spin or slide out a little bit from you each time you get pushed, but you just have to know how to correct it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we're going to be looking out for, is how they go about dealing with that. I think, my time commentating on NASCAR, you learn don't bump draft in a corner, don't come off when you're coming off a corner, don't hit the other side, because that poor person's going to go rocketing off to the left or right, depending on which corner you've hit. Now, we talk about with it as well, with the points of contact. Now you can see Sean Bradley, he is in that flying donut car there as well, which I think is absolutely amazing and looks incredible. But one of the things we want to look out for when we talk about bump drafting and what happens with it. Now obviously generally you come up to the back of the car and you just push him, right?
Well, you may have heard me use the term squaring up. What that basically means is you don't want to be to the left or the right. You really want to make sure the middle of your bumper is touching the middle of the back of the person you're pushing's bumper. Otherwise, you are going to just give them momentum in the wrong direction, and they are going to spin. And it's very likely they'll take you with them. So you really need to make sure that you're being a good pusher and also getting pushed properly. It's a lot of work at Superspeedways. Yeah, it is, and we can see here with Sean Bradley, one of the things we don't want happening is him pushing on that right corner, partly because it unsettles the car, and the car will shoot left, and that's one of the reasons, mainly due to the fact that as they push the car down, it grips on that right-hand side, and it will go left, and of course, if you do it on the left, they will go right, and it is a weird concept, and trust me, I've taken ages to understand it, but that is exactly what happens. So you will see, hopefully, them pushing square here. We've got a nice little breakaway all the way down to 19th, where Maurice Bogan is dropped about 4.5 seconds. However, he is in a group rear. I think that's probably one of the most important things, isn't it? We've got this two-line group further back. That top line's trying to push on the outside. Stay as a group. I think you've got to be staying as a group, surely. Absolutely. I've seen a lot of cases where people will just try to go for the pass, and it's not worth it. The amount of draft that you get behind other cars, and the amount that you help them as well, it's not worth trying to go for a pass on your own. Even that 4-car group right there, that's better than being out there with 2 even. They might want to kind of come down and jump back into the pack at this point. The pack is a little bit spread out. There's room for them to come back down into it, but if they're good about it, they could actually start making up a little bit of pace.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that we pick up on as well, and Kenton has got a great way of explaining things when it comes to NASCAR in general. They want to work together, don't they? They want to have a gap, but they don't want a big gap. They want to stay close, but they don't want to be too close. It's a very draft heavy minefield. That's the way I look at this, because it can get quite complicated at times. You would have thought just following something. You see that snake always worries me when they start doing that, because there's always that mid-pack contact, and then somebody will go shooting off. But they've got to be close, but not too close, which to some might not make sense.
It's actually, some people that actually pretty much anybody that does any sim racing will know this. It's very hard to follow somebody and stick to your own line, because you see somebody doing a line in front of you and your brain immediately thinks I should be following them exactly, but they might not take the best line. But with NASCAR, it's a little different, because even if they're not taking the perfect line, it's still better to just follow them and take the draft. Even if they're wobbling a little bit, don't wobble too much with them, but if they're going up and down the track, you don't really want to be left out in the dirty air.
But do you want to follow them around? That's one of the things I think a lot of people don't quite understand is if the 95, for instance, of Fred Anderson goes all of a sudden up to the top, do you want to go up to the top with him, or would you stay below? Because surely as soon as Anderson's going to do that, right, he's going to get strung out. He'll be just straight backwards. So would you follow them all over the circuit, or would you sit back and think, well, actually, no, because as soon as I go up there, we're both going to get strung out?
It kind of depends on how it goes. If it's a smooth move, like up to the top, you're probably going to end up following him. But if it's like a quick jump up there, you're just going to let him hang out to dry. He's going to lose himself places by sitting in, not getting pushed. He's got no draft to follow. He'll just be basically relying on the car and nothing else. No downforce or anything like that. Well, downforce obviously, but not as much as he would have. So if it's smooth, you'll tend to follow them, but yeah, quick jump, it's just leave them out there to dry.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. I definitely would be looking at doing that as well. I would probably leave them out there to dry and just say, see you later, mate, adios. You crack on and go out there and drop back. I think that's one of the things that, draft racing and especially draft pack racing is what we are seeing as well. And I think it's important that you do go round. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. That was the 16 trying to put it, thread the eye of the needle there as well. You can see just how bad Hannigan has got hung out. There's been the last couple of laps he's been hung out to dry, and now he is back in that pack. He is 16th place at the moment as Chris Hannigan. Maybe he's saving, maybe he's not, but boy oh boy has he gone back quickly. This second pack is now 8 seconds back. The lights of Brandon Hinton, John Crutchley, Chris Melton, Pete Dillon and Morris Bogan. Now, if Morris isn't careful, he's going to be completely off the back end of this pack. Same with Pete. Pete's got to use the guys in front, haven't they? They've got to try and knuckle up, I suppose. Get connected, isn't it? That's probably the way I'm looking at it, is get connected and try and push each other forward.
Yeah, you got to think of it like a train. If you're in the back, you're being pulled along by everybody in front of you, and if you're left out there, like we said before, you've got nothing. It's just the car itself. There's no there's no draft to follow. It's just the power your engine has is all you got. And they do look like they're actually a little far here. They could tighten up maybe a little bit, but I understand not wanting to risk it too much. But when you're back this far, you might want to start, tightening it up just a little bit more.
Yeah, and we talked about Chris Hannigan earlier on, and Chris is slowly, ever so slowly, dropping off. Unless he's tyre saving already. We did talk about running that higher line to tyre save, maybe. That's what they're going to be looking at doing, to try and keep some track on it. I know Chris is obviously possibly one of these people that might not take tyres and seem to think they probably get to the end on one fuel stop as well. But, I think they did say, obviously, in perspective, when you're trying to go 80 laps and your fuel's only going to go 40, you've got a lot of lift in to try and do there, haven't you?
Yeah, I think at that point you're kind of relying on a couple of cautions here and there just to coast a little bit, not have to run the engine too hard.
Williams Portfolio, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. If they are single file, the only reason someone jumps out is to drop to the back or get in front of the middle line. The bigger the line, the faster the pack, depending on the lead card. Now, do you know, I don't often disagree with people. Well, to be fair, I probably do more than most commentators, to be honest. You know what I mean, right, Rio? You watch it. Yeah, no, I'm sweet and innocent, me, I'll tell you. And I've got to say, William, I don't necessarily agree with your second part of that statement. And the reason I don't agree with it is I've watched races, NASCAR races, where a 2-car train has pulled away from a 5-car train due to the fact that the 5 cars aren't necessarily working together, and the 2 cars are really tight and they've been really tucked up behind each other. So I've got to somehow a little bit disagree with you. I get where you're going, but when you've got a 3-car train like you have at the front of Anderson, Bradley and Benson, the rest aren't in that line. You can see Slaughter's up and down as well. There's a few others that are up and down and up and down and up and down. And you can see the middle, the top line are working quite closely together and are slowly pulling in that bottom line. And there isn't as many cars in that top line as there is in the bottom. So as much as I would love to not have to disagree with you, William, and I'm sure you're probably going to tell me I'm wrong, but you can see that top line there has only got, what, maybe 5 cars in it at the most, and they are going the same pace, if not quicker, than the bottom line, who's got a lot more cars in. I just think that it's not the length of the line rear, it's more how they're working together.
It definitely can be a little bit of both. If the bottom line was tightening up a little bit more, working together a bit more, they would probably be a lot faster. But you're right, the top line is definitely working together much better, and that's where they're making up all their speed. The closer you are to the car in front, again, the faster they end up going, the faster you become with them. So it's a lot of teamwork, and if it's like this gap that we're seeing right here, even that small gap between Bradley and Benson, it's too much right now.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the
top
things.
line's getting kind of loose.
Yeah, they're all going a little bit squirrely. Carl Gretsch has pulled out there. Probably, hopefully, the drop to the back. Somebody else has pulled out as well. That middle line now, you've just all separated. You've gone like a jigsaw puzzle on a table and just been dropped on the floor. It's all just gone a little bit pieces for that top line, unfortunately. Well, they had that nailed, didn't they? They had that nailed. They were making good progress, pulling it up near the second place car. Just gone. Absolutely vanished in one foul swoop due to one move of somebody who wanted to get out of the way. We're on lap 17. We're not under caution. We haven't had any cautions, which is great at the moment here as well. We've still got a good old few laps to go, mind you. And we, you know, is it time now, Rhea, that you sit back and think, right, what am I doing with fuel? What am I doing with tyres? Carl Gretsch. Oh, no.
It's maybe a thought that you start having, but then you see things like that where people are coming so close, you just might get caution, and it might just not be worth it to worry about it at the moment. They still have about, playing it safe, maybe like another 20-ish laps, 18 or so laps of fuel. So it's maybe something you think about, but it's not, at this stage in the race, it's not something to worry about yet. I would just kind of hope for caution or start planning for your pit.
Yeah, exactly. I think as well. William in YouTube chat has come back to me. No need to be no need to be as one with someone's bumper the entire time. On someone's bumper, yep. The entire time, because when the car behind gets close to the car in front, the air packs up between the cars, causing the front car to go faster, as for your statement. Now, I think that's going to be a reference to the fact that we were talking about 3 cars going faster than a car of 8. But yeah, we can see the gaps materializing in that bottom line. Chris Hannigan has got quite a big old gap at the moment, where Carl Gretsch is slowly closing on to the back of the 93 of Zach Roethlisberger in the middle, who's behind the 16 of Bentley at the moment. This is where I expect that top 3 to start working together. However, Carl Gretsch did just give the number 33 a big old push going into the corner entry there as well. That could have been quite dangerous. We talked about this pushing, we talked about bump drafting, and we talked about definitely keeping it out of the corners.
Yeah, like we said before, pushing in the corners, you're just, as somebody's turning, you're just going to unsettle them, and you have to make sure you're squared up on the straights. As for what William said, he is right. When you're running on that top line, it's more, think of it like a centrifuge. You're carrying more speed, you're carrying more momentum. So that is a good point, that they're just going, if they're consistent all the time, they're just going to carry more speed.
Yeah, that I understand. I think it was more in the reference of the fact the longer the line, the faster they go. And as I said, I wasn't trying to have a disagreement with anybody. Yeah. You know, hey, why would I do that, right? I've never done that before at all. Don't do that. Don't do that. You are going to slip and slide there, sir. Be careful. Be careful. This pack is working together. It is interesting the fact that when we were talking earlier on, we did mention the group of Pete Dillon, Chris Melton, Maurice Bogan, Brandon Hinton, and John Crutchley. We did say they started to drop off. Well, you can see for Pete Dillon, he is going to get eaten up faster than a Big Mac in McDonald's. I am not going to lie here. This front pack is looming, and they're looming quickly. This second pack here with Grant Parker, Chris Hannigan, and Dustin Barton's a little bit further back, actually, behind that with John Campbell, Crutchley, Hinton, Bogan, and Melton. They've got a bit of work to do. They've got to start wrapping it up and start getting a little bit closer. But unfortunately for Pete Dillon now, this is where we get into that danger zone. What do you do in a back market? Now, we talk about blue flags and we talk about blue flag racing, and you know it drives me crazy. What do you do in NASCAR in general? There isn't really a blue flag rule. Would you move up and let them underneath, or would you go down and let them go over the top?
I mean, it depends on where the line is at the moment. I would do my best to stay out of their way, because you don't want to seem like you're racing them, because it may just prompt them to give you a little gentle nudge out of the way. Maybe you end up spinning into the wall. But you definitely don't want to like contest or make them slower. I just let them through and do your best to get onto their draft, because that's your best shot at keeping up and staying away from being too many laps down. It does look like he might have a little bit of trouble getting into a good line here, since he's up so high.
Ooh, stay there, sir. Stay there. They're coming. There we go. And that was the vital importance of now don't losing the draft. I think we've just seen that prime example of Pete Dillon, who completely come off the back end and he just went back and back and back, and that was the problem.
Yeah,
you know, you can't be doing that, can you? You can't be losing the draft. We can see here on board with Kyle Gretsch at the moment what we're talking about. We've got that inner line down below us as well. There's a lot of movement in front of him from the 93 of Roethlisberger as well. It's a difficult one. Pack racing, two lines is always going to be difficult.
Pack racing in general is just very difficult. It's so close. We mentioned it at the beginning of the race. Any minor input or minor slip up, it becomes so much more amplified at that speed. It's harder to get. Yeah, there's a lot of waving.
Yeah, that's going to end up in disaster if he catches that wrong for Bentley. I can tell you that much. That is not what we want to be doing. And Roethlisberger there, an experienced racer. I'm surprised he's actually going to that extent of doing that, because he's no slouch in a NASCAR. You know, we're not in a bottom of the license ladder, you know, official at the end of the day, and we all know how they generally turn out. You know, you could be doing a 50-lap race and you're there for about 3 hours. So, yeah, it's always a difficult one, but I am surprised he's moving around quite as much. I'm not sure that would be on my recommended list of driving Talladega.
Sometimes it ends up just happening. You try your best to stay behind, and you just start to lose focus, or the tires start to wear out. You're doing the exact same thing, following somebody exactly. Or at this point, 25. What are we on?
25.
Yep, 25 laps at a time. It does start to mentally wear down on you, and you start thinking about where my tire's at, where's the fuel at. So it might just be you need to come back and focus a little more, or it could be something with the car, it could be the air. There's a lot that could be going on, but I would start to kind of focus a little bit. Ooh. Yeah, I would focus a little bit more and try not to wiggle around so much, because it can cause issues. You can lose the draft like that as well.
Yeah, and he looks like he has in that 41 there as well. That's Thomas Hood Jr. Looked like he did lose the draft a little bit. Also, so if my tone comes off wrong, I enjoy your broadcast and don't want you to think I'm trying to argue. Just love this NASCAR and racing in general, and I get passionate. Dude, you don't have to say sorry. As Rhea knows, I will quite happily have a conversation about random things plenty of times. So please don't come in and say sorry. You know, it's great having you here. Yeah, so don't have to come in and apologize. Everybody's opinions. The only thing we don't do, William, and this isn't, you know, just because I don't really want it in the YouTube chat, is political or race or anything world related, because nobody agrees with anybody on any form of debate. So that's the only things we keep out of YouTube chat, because otherwise, well, you don't get the respectful debates that you normally have. But so, you know what I mean? And Rhea knows that as well. We just keep that out of YouTube. We can have a laugh and a joke, and we can talk about whether or not Rhea believes the earth is flat or round, and have a little conspiracy joke about it, but we won't, we don't do all that other stuff, mate, unfortunately. But look, no need to say sorry. You're more than welcome to put your opinions across. The more, as I say, we learn one thing every single day that's new, William, we will die very smart individuals. So be aware. I don't hold anybody's opinion out away from anything else. Just get yourselves involved. It's fine. Do we think, no, lap 27, we've got a target of 34, 35, maybe 40, depending on what the fuel saving situation has been. Do we think that we might see an early stop from some, lap 30, 31, do we reckon? Because of the way they've been running, for the likes of Fred Anderson, who's been cutting the air for 28 laps over Sean Bradley. Is he going to think about coming in early?
If anybody's thinking about coming in early, it's him in that, it's Anderson in that front position that's going to have the best chance of doing it, because you really got to go in with a pack. So he's going to end up bringing in people behind him. It might be a good idea to start thinking about it maybe just a little early. 34, 35 is kind of pushing it. Maybe around 32 would be a safe bet.
No. Yeah. Mr. Rufflesberger, stop rubbing his bumper. You are not cleaning the windows here. I tell you, you want to keep it. No, don't do it there or there or there. You're gonna. I swear, if I was the Bentley right about now, I would be sitting there saying, "Please remove yourself." It's almost like that. Yeah, scary, wouldn't it? You want one of them bumper stickers. If you can read this, you're far too close.
Yeah, just a little bit more speed into that, and I think they would have been gone.
Yep.
It was. You could start to see a couple cars getting a little loose during that, but they made it out. So
yeah, that's the thing.
They keep going.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? They've done the 2 push, and now they've made it out in front of Anderson, which is, as William said, the bottom line should have been quicker, but the 2-car push was quicker than the bottom line, and they shot out, and they did it quite fiercely. As well, mind you, I am slightly now getting more worried for this group here of Grant Parker with Chris Hannigan at the back, and now Corey is not there. It's Parker, Hannigan, and there's a back marker there as well. I think that's the 31 of Pete Dillon. Yeah,
it is.
It's slowly dropping into the clutches of the John Campbell, Crutchley, Hinton, Vaughan, Barton, Melton group here at the moment, and it's not going all so well for today's sponsor in Mr. Chris Hannigan, is it? He's kind of down 7, sitting in 16th, losing a chunk of time. Not an ideal scenario for him.
Yeah, this whole pack right here is actually way too loose for where they're at. They really need to tighten it up and do a little bit better here, but they're just getting so far away from each other. They're not helping. They need to start bumping. So we might get a little contact. It might help a little bit, but they're so far back. They should honestly be on, don't clog up the comms, but maybe talk in driver comms just a little bit. Just kind of, partner up and get yourself moving, because you're right, they're going to be swallowed up again quite soon.
Yeah, they definitely are as well. Now, William, I want to pick up on that point, and Ria made the same point. You want to go in with a pack. Now, what I've learned, if I've learned anything over my time of doing NASCAR here as well, I do generally find that, yes, going in with a pack of 3, 4, but I also find as well that if you go in with any more than that, you can clog up and mess up each other's entry, which in turn slows you down in your pit stop. Now, I get what you're saying. You want to go in with a pack, and I understand that. You don't want to go in with a 2. I think your 4 would be an optimal number. At least you can all drop off and go into the pits together without holding each other up. But I do find Ria, if they start going in this 6, 7, 8 car lunge, they end up all causing each other problems, and it slows everyone down.
Yeah, and here's the thing, William, before you chime in, because I do know what you're going to say. I do know William.
Fair play.
At this level, it's much more, you're right, at this kind of level of racing, not that they're bad drivers, but the level that official NASCAR is at, they practice pit so much. They're all so almost perfect on entry. They're almost at the speed limit pretty much the entire time they're on pit road. So bigger pack in official NASCAR isn't really going to mess people up like that. But yes, in a league like this where we have people of varying skills, you're very right. We could see some people kind of slowing up too much. There could be, you know, a clog going into pit. There could be too many people coming out of pit road at the same time, just not maintaining the speed properly. And again, it just comes down to in official NASCAR, that's their job. That's all they do. But here we have a wide variety of skill levels.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things. I was just keeping an eye on Matt Harmon there, unfortunately. Matt got a little bit left in the dust there, and then he couldn't get back in. He was kind of like a car on a motorway, and he just got strung out. And he's been trying to force his way in. You see him coming down, and he's gone back out because he can't get in, and come down and gone back out because he can't get in. And now he is going to drop all the way to the back of the pack here, unfortunately, as well, unless he can get a big old help from somebody on that upper line here. Saying that though, he is going quite shifty on his own, but he does need to definitely tighten it up with somebody. I think that would probably be a good move. Now we've got another lead change with Jason Benson taking up the mantle after Fred Anderson led for pretty much most of the first half of the race. Anderson by choice, do we think, or do we think the other lines have just, well, it's looked to me like the other lines have just gone up, round and in. So maybe that's what we saw rather than Anderson slowing down.
Yeah, I think you're right, to be honest. Let's see, where's he at?
Low, they need to learn how to pit properly and not run each other over. Have you done an official NASCAR race, William? I have not. Even in league races, I have seen 5 go in. I've seen the front one spin and 4 crash behind him. So regardless whether or not you try, at the end of the day, these aren't pros, right? We're not, Danny Hamlin. We're not anyone like that who's driving NASCARs for a living. We are just the average Joe sat at our house in our rig, sweating, driving round a circle for no other reason, just purely because of the fact that we enjoy it. So at the end of the day, I wouldn't expect miracles, William. I've got to be honest, and I think Ria can vouch here as well. We're not going to expect miracles. We will expect maybe a 3, maybe a 4, but I think any more than that, we might see a little bit of chaos. So, yeah, I think we've got to be a little bit more optimistic, Ria, in our expectations, should we say. We know these guys race clean, and we've gone 36 laps at a super speedway without one caution. We're coming into the pit window. The only man that's pitted was Keith Hanlon, but that was back on lap 1, and I got a funny feeling he actually started and then left because he didn't do anything after that.
Yeah.
37-40 then. Surely. We're pushing the limits of what we're able to do now.
Yeah, at this point, they must be getting I'm pretty sure almost everybody out there must be getting, unless they've all been doing a ton of fuel saving, they must be getting the notification that they only have a couple laps of fuel left. I think it's just nobody wants to break the toe at the moment. They might not be communicating, because we have seen a couple of people dropping back and just not being in a pack when they really should be, so they might just not be communicating and talking about when they want to go in.
But would you, if you're not in a team?
At a super speedway, here's the thing. At a super speedway, everyone's in a team until the end of the race. Everybody's got to work together, because, like you've seen, if you're in a group that's just not communicating, not working together at all, you're gonna fall back, like we've seen already. And again, if you do the same thing when you go to pit, you go on your own, you're gonna come out on your own, and you're gonna just no man's land. You get nothing.
Yeah, well, we've got 13 drivers in the chat, right? We've got 23 running. So somewhere along the line, there's 10 missing. Now, if that 10 happen to be the ones, oh, he's gone in. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think
That's what I was expecting to see.
Yeah. Now, are they all going to do it without tripping over each other? That's one of the things we have spoken about, and one of the things that we are hopeful that these guys manage to do. And I've got a funny feeling we are good here. All good in the hood, no disasters. I would do that as well if I was a lap down. Chris Hannigan's moved his way up after dropping all the way back. There you go, right tyres for some. There's a full set for the 95 there, I think, as well. Up one side. No, I think he went right, it's only.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, he must have. Wow, that was a long pit stop for just right tires.
Yeah, and I think.
But yeah, there we go. As we said at the beginning of the race, you'll see a couple of people on different strategies. Some people taking fours, some people just taking rights.
Oh, get it stopped, boys. Get it stopped. Benson.
That might have been a penalty.
Yeah, Gretsch, Ashby, Benson, Harkham, Corey, and Harmon all diving in together there as well. So this is what I mean. I think any more than the 4 or the 5 that we have seen, I think we could have been in a little bit more trouble, right? And that's not because I want to be hateful about it or anything like that, but that is not how you do it. And do you see what I mean, William? Do you see what we mean? That could have caused a disaster if he went shooting across for the people behind him there, unfortunately. So, who is that? Oh, he's missed his pit box by miles.
He's completely missed it.
Grant Parker.
He's going to be too far. Yeah, there you go. I was going to say he's going to be too far still.
Well,
to be fair, William is agreeing with you on that point. That not everyone's a pro. He is kind of talking about, like, and when I was saying officials, I did mean real life NASCAR, not official races in iRacing, because it's hectic in there.
Yeah, I got that one. I'm not gonna lie. I got that. It's all right. I know I'm British, but trust me, I got it. I did get that one.
I was just explaining for people in the chat. Maybe people thought I meant the dreaded official iRacing.
The official iRacing ones that you know, the last time, right? And I specifically for one season, I'm going to go for NASCAR, right? Now, I know it's crazy, an Englishman driving in a NASCAR. It's no more crazy than an Englishman commentating on NASCAR. Don't get me wrong. I fully understand that. And I went in, it was a 90-lap race, and I think it was even at Daytona. And ideally, it should have started at 3 p.m. And no, it should have started at 12, and I should have been done by about 2 o'clock, give or take, right? And then I would have could go out and go and pick my kids up from school. Started at 12. At 2:45, I had to jump to the pits to go and get my kids because we still had 35 laps to go. You know what I mean?
Gosh.
I was there forever and ever. And in the end, I gave up. And I just thought, well, that's it for me. My NASCAR career is over within iRacing. Because I couldn't sit there for so long, you know. Things like this, when you join a league, you never really know what you get. And obviously within JPB running leagues as well, you know, I fully understood the purpose of the skill levels and iRating levels. But as we said, Rhea, Grant Parker, for instance, who's 701, may have done a few officials and thought, nah, this ain't for me. I'm going to go and do league racing. So it doesn't really mean a lot, does it, compared to what their racecraft, I suppose, is in general.
Yeah, not at all. We were talking about it. I believe it was before the stream.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, Grant Parker is down at 701, but who knows how many leagues he runs? He could run more than just triple bypass, and his racecraft could be excellent. He is running down pretty far, but he's not doing bad. Unfortunately he is all alone, so he's not getting any draft, but that tends to just be a problem at Daytona. At Talladega. You're talking about Daytona. I thought we were there for a second.
But that's the thing. It might not be. For Grant Parker, for instance, like my boy, as you know, come into a Clio's, and the first few races, seriously, if he wasn't my boy, I would have kicked him out. He was horrendous, right? And that's the thing. And he was. I'm not going to lie. He was. But this season, he's now battling in the AM Championship. So fair play to him. He took 2 seasons, got driver coaching, went and did it. Grant Parker now may have just made the mistake that he thought he was going to go in to the pits, and he may have ended up entering on his own. Do you know what I mean? And that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. It's not about the fact that he's a bad driver. It's about the fact that one simple mistake. But I have seen drivers come back from 2 or 3 laps down and due to cautions have gone on and won the race. So anything is possible within NASCAR, and I think that's why deep within the enjoyment's there, and the fact that anything can happen. You don't even have to be on pole. Anything can happen. The pole man, well, he's down in 7th. Now, if that was a road race, Ria would be panicking about now. But it's not, is it? It's something that could be easily achieved and back into the front.
Oh gosh, yeah. This is one of the Tuesday races. Zach would be crying about that one. That's but again, like you said, in NASCAR, a single crash can just bunch everybody up. But you could again, cautions breed cautions. You could have a caution that bunches everybody up, and then the whole front of the paddock could end up creating another caution right after green. And you could go from last to possibly in the top 5 within just a couple of laps.
Exactly. And the lap down car, Lucky Dog, Wave Around, they're all there, and they can make that difference to people. And I think when you sit back and you watch something like this, my 12-year-old is a prime example. Dad, what we got on tonight? I said, we're going to do radicals, mate, and then we're going on to NASCAR. Oh, NASCAR. I said, what's up with NASCAR? Oh, it's boring. They just go left. I said, is that it, is it? He went, yeah, they just go left, and then the last lap or so it might get exciting. But that is the common European perception of NASCAR. Now, obviously, having commentated it, having spoken to drivers, having tried even driving it, there's a lot more involved, and I don't think people fully understand. And that's where I'm a bit more relaxed on the blue flag rule within NASCAR, because you deep down know it means absolutely nothing. Nothing.
Yep. Yeah, to be honest, it's not that uncommon of a thing for people to say here, and even in America, where, it's boring and they just turn left. And you can kind of see that perspective. Even as a driver, I see that perspective. But the second you get into a car, even in a simulator, and you do it for 20 minutes, you start feeling it in your body. And you're like, oh my God, my arms, when is this going to end? And then you're there for another 50 minutes, and you realize it's a lot more than just turning. The track is very hard to master. You have to know how to handle your cars that close to other people's cars. It's a very physically straining thing to do it. And it's just, I think it's something that people should, anybody that has iRacing and has thought about, maybe I'll do oval, give it a try, because it will definitely give you an appreciation for the sport at the very least.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things as well, don't sandbag on something unless you've gone out and done it, right? And you can't sit back and go, like, I said that to my son. I was like, have you driven it? He was like, no, it's boring. I said, right, don't go there then. You can't say it's boring if you haven't driven it. And that's what we say to them when we cook asparagus or something, Oh, I don't like that. Well, have you eaten it before? No. Stick it in your mouth and chew then, son. You know what I mean? Give it a go. You never know what might happen. You might actually like it. Now, it's quite an interesting thing that's happening on track at the moment. We've got Ben Harkham leading the group of Benson, Ashby and Gretsch. Now, these 4 cars are very tightly knitted. That 43 there as well on the back end here is Grant Parker. Now, that's who we were talking about. He's latched onto the back of the pack. He knows where his bread is buttered. He's got to be on that draft to get himself back through as well. That's one group. We've then got the second group developing. Roethlisberger, Bradley, Jackson, Anderson, Bentley. They're another group. Then we go back 25 seconds. We've got this group mentality starting because of the fact that the pit stops have really mixed everybody up. You know, we got 1, 2, 3 groups of cars here. If they don't stop again, that front group's going to run away with it because they didn't stop until lap 40. So that's going to be very close to the 80 mark, Rip.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the possibility that, you know, some of the groups farther back just work together better and are able to make up the positions. But you're right. At this point, the distance, especially 25 seconds back from even the second pack, it's going to be hard to really make anything happen at this point. You're really kind of hoping for a caution at this point to bundle up the whole grid.
Well, that's what we're hoping for, but I got a funny feeling it might not happen here, and it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't. It's not the first time we've seen these guys go green to checkered without a single caution. You see them coming up on your bottom of the screen all the way down to 14th with Hannigan currently sitting at the moment. He's got an 8.5 second gap to Hinton with Crutchley, Melton and Campbell in that pack. So there is a lot going on all around the racetrack. At the moment, we've got Group 1 trying to get away from Group 2. The problem is for Group 1 is Group 2 here is slowly closing in on them. This pack here as well are slowly making inroads. They've just started dropping off a couple of back markers back there as well, and they are now zoning in. We just broke below 2 seconds area as well, back out to that 2.1 mark. So we'll see how they get on, I think.
Yeah, it's again, everybody at this point, at least everybody from Roethlisberger back, is pretty much just hoping for a caution, hoping that they can get bunched up again, or that, again, I mean, they do have the advantage of having more cars at the moment. It's 5 against 4, so if they can bunch up a bit better, they'll definitely be able to make something happen. It's possible, but again, I mean, they are actually, if you look at it, they are gaining quite a bit.
Yeah, but
like the gap is already down to 1.8.
Yeah, that front pack, though, have picked up 2 back markers for good health. You know, John Campbell's there, Grant Parker's there. So technically, we've got a 6 versus 5 battle with these guys as well. Now, it's how efficient these back markers are going to be. I think that's one of the things we've got to look out for, is how efficient are the back markers. Now, it would benefit them more to basically stay on this pack and let this lead pack pull them round. That's what I would theoretically want to be achieving. Now, we've just broken 2 seconds, and we've got Grant Parker and the 117 of Campbell. Oh, JC Campbell there as well is starting to slowly drop off. If you're going to help the front pack out, go up and help them. Don't start dropping yourselves back, because all you're going to do is put yourselves into the clutches of the chasing ones here. Roethlisberger, Bradley, Jackson, Anderson, and Bentley. Once more, 53 laps rear. You said we would get 2 cautions at least. We haven't hit any.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm starting to regret that or not. I mean, it's Dega. Anything could happen, especially at super speedways, but I'm maybe starting to rethink that just a little bit. But again, I mean,
just giving it a little thoughts.
There are people in the back that would appreciate it as much as I would appreciate being right. You know, Derek Cat, for instance, he would, as long as he's not involved in any of the crash, he would get Lucky Dog. That would help him out a lot.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Shall we? We're on 54. We've still got 26 to go. Even I can do quick maths at this time of the morning as well, so check me out. But I think for now, Dega's produced what kind of not what we expected, I suppose, because we did say we were looking at this caution field, race. There might be 2, there might be 3, there might be 5. Don't get me wrong, we've seen races, and you and I both know that we've seen 12 to 14, and it's been long, and
yeah,
I don't know if illustrious would be the word I want to use on that one, but at the end of the day, what they've achieved so far, I think, needs to be more brought up than what they haven't achieved. they've achieved 55 laps with 23 cars on a super speedway. They've all driven sensibly. Yes, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We've seen some iggly-piggly skeptical moves, so please don't do that moments. But they've done 55 laps. You know, if this was an official, we'd be on lap 10 by now, 10 cautions deep.
That's a little generous, honestly.
Well, I did say lap 10, you know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, well, yeah. But yeah, no, like you said, we've mentioned it before. They're a very clean league, especially considering they're open to anybody. Yeah, there have been some moves. I think one of the biggest things, as I said before, patience. Everybody's just been so patient and has not made any. We haven't really seen any dumb moves of people just sending it just to try and gain a spot, even though there's still. What are we on? 55.
We just breached 25 to go of 80.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, like you said, there's still 45 laps to go. There's no reason to make risky moves at a point like this, and all of them have been really good about knowing that, not doing that. And again, like you said, no crashes at Dega. We have to praise them for what they have done. It's even in real life, it's the most infamous speedway for crashes in general.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever. I'm not super positive about NASCAR history, but I don't think there's been many races at Dega without cautions.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if anybody actually turned around and said there's been none. Do you know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, it's one of them tracks, isn't it? It's one of them tracks that is kind of famous, but infamous at the same time, I think would be the word. I think the way it looks there at the moment. You know, and that's the thing is, and this basically sums it up here, actually. It's just the average number of cautions causing accidents and spins in a Talladega race is only 3.5.
Yeah, it's...
7 races had a single caution. 14 out of 64 races had 4 cautions, and 13 out of 64 cautions had 3 cautions causing incidents. So the average is 3.5 cautions per race at Dega. Now, for a super speedway in real life, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's not. It was actually just looking up the average for how many races in NASCAR even go without any cautions is 1 in every, I believe the number was 532. That's a lot, and a lot of them have multiple cautions. And like I said before, super speedways are just so fast. You're in such a tight pack, and we've seen people wobbling left and right on the straights. It's very hard to stick behind cars like that. And like going back to the fact that everybody's of a different skill level, they've been handling it very well, like incredibly so. It's definitely something for them to all be proud of, no matter where they are in position.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just seen the 2 groups hook up together. So they've just joined up now. That Roethlisberger, Bradley, Jared, Jackson, Anderson and Bentley group have now joined on to the back of the Harkin, Benson, Ashby, Gretsch, Roethlisberger group. Okay, so we'll be aware we are now starting to get an almost 9-car train. Stint lengths out of that 9 cars. They went 39 and 38 in the first stint, and they'll be going 20 and 21 for the second at the moment. We've got 21 to go. This is where we're getting into the nitty-gritty. This is where we're getting into the chess. That's what I like to call it. Your grandmaster. He's positioning his pieces. He's starting to think where he wants to be. Because in no fewer than 11 minutes, if we don't caution it up, this race is going to be done here, give or take. No, hold on, James, you can't count. 50 seconds. So it's going to be about 19 minutes, Rhea. This is going to be over. This has got to be the chess time. Get your car where you need it.
Yeah, this is... around this time is, like I said, they've been patient, but maybe now's the time to start. Again, communication is important. Maybe start talking to some of the drivers in front of you, forming other lines. You don't want to be too few cars because you don't want to lose on the pack, but you just start forming 2 lines. I'm surprised they're still in 1 line at the moment. But yeah, now is probably about the time you want to form that 2nd line and start making up some time, trying to make your positions up.
The problem is, somebody's got to be brave to start the line. Now, he also knows, or they also know, sorry, that if they are going to be brave and take that line, they might not get any support. They might not get a push. They might not get anyone follow. So at that moment, you're like the odd sock that appears in your washing machine randomly when you're sure you put 2 in there. And that's how you end up sitting in the odd sock pile, because he's gone out and said, come on, I'm going to go top, start the 2nd line off. Everybody else just went with him. You know, carried on the single line. Nobody went with him. And that poor odd sock sitting on the shelf waiting for his partner.
Yeah, it's they're actually starting to lose the pack a little bit of a gap forming there. But yeah, especially being towards the back of the pack, it's very concerning. It's very worrying to even think about trying to team up with anybody, because if you in the back of the pack, if you don't have any support, you're just going to lose the draft. You're gonna be washed out, left on your own. Maybe towards the middle you can start thinking about it, but the people up at the front are probably just hoping that they can, stick with the leaders and maybe facilitate something towards the very close, the very final stages, last couple laps, maybe last 5 laps or so. But at this point, you in the middle of this pack, you would kind of want to start thinking about seeing if you can get out, seeing if you can push a little bit harder. But it's, like you said, it's hard to find that support. But the high line does have that benefit of you're keeping more speed through the corners. You're gonna, as long as you're working at least as good as the low line is, then you're gonna gain on them. So it's a bit of a risk reward. It's just you take that risk.
Yeah, well, the pole man is now sitting down in 8th at the moment. Fred Anderson there as well from Falcon Racing was running up alongside Carl Gretsch. Gretsch is sitting in 4th. He was the 2nd place man. Now, this is when we talk about the unpredictability of NASCAR in general. When in a road race have we ever turned around and said, you have got the man starting in 18th winning, or leading, I should say, the race? And that is exactly what's happening to this number 78 car here of Ben Harkham. He started in 18th place and is now leading this race. Met Perezzini, welcome in. Oh, sure, I go out of town for a Superspeedway race and they go green the whole way. Great job as usual. Well, Matt, we're on 17. Give it a minute, Matt. We are on lap 17. But that's the thing, Rhea, isn't it? In a road race, you are very rarely going to see the guy come from 18th to lead in the race with only 16 laps to go.
Generally, if you see that in a road race, something has gone wrong somewhere. Either the person in 18th didn't qualify correctly, or there was a big crash, something like that.
Yeah, it's gone horribly wrong, isn't it? Let's be real. Yep. So, because nowhere in a road race have I seen a Haas in a Formula One come and win it. So, it just goes to show as well.
The flip side is you're Max Verstappen and have the best car underneath of you on the grid. So it does happen, but that's, the highest level, the best drivers in the world, the best car under him. So in any other race, something has to have gone quite wrong.
Yes. As well, I'd like to add another one to the list there as well. The highest paid people in motorsport. Oh, it's gone! It's gone!
Oh, he's dry up.
Oh! Are we still... Did they get away?
Has he blown the engine?
It doesn't matter if they've blown the engine. It's the fact that we've still got away. Where is he? Where did he go?
I think you were on him for a second.
Was it Irish Ashby, wasn't it?
I believe so.
He's still going. Oh, you're in a... No! That's what we said, didn't we, Carl Gretsch? Don't do it in the corners, and we've seen him do that a couple of times. He has, look. We're smoking.
Yeah, that's what made me think maybe he blew his engine, maybe he downshifted to try and compensate, maybe he was afraid, and... no, it looks like he's still going, and maybe it was just... it must have just been smoke from the tires.
Yeah, and we haven't changed down either. We're still in 5th, which is a little bit unusual. I thought he might have gone down and got that down lower beforehand. But now, that has caught... Oh, we do have a caution.
Ooh, something else.
Where was that?
I don't see...
Huh? Have we missed something? Okay, bear with us, guys. We are just trying to work out why that caution come out. I'll tell you what.
I'm not seeing anybody on the timing chart.
No, I'll tell you what we're doing at the moment. Why we've got this caution as well. I am going to have a chat with Mr. Al Corey. Al, where did that... how are you, first of all, sir? Sorry, how are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, James. I was asleep there. Thanks for waking me up. How are you?
I'm very well. How's it going?
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's a very quiet race, isn't it?
Hey, I'm loving this. Don't get me wrong, Al. You know, this is a good one. Why the caution?
We had some kind of a checkup on the field, and race control saw a car go off, and so race control threw the yellow.
It's late yellow, maybe.
Yeah. Give you a minute there, Al. Let you get started. That was a very late yellow there, Al.
Yeah, I think maybe there were some people looking for a caution. I don't know, but we'll have at least a little bit of racing to finish this up.
We were having that racing. We just got that front group had joined up with a second group, Al. It was all going off here. Where are you going, Al? What am I expecting from Al Corey here in the number 45? What's the situation with you?
Well, I'm not a fan of the Superspeedway package in this car. The outside line seems to die unless you've got
help
4 cars lined up right behind you. And so making a run on the outside to pick up some spots late doesn't look good to me. So it's going to be, for me, I'm going to be looking to gain some track position early in this run and see what happens.
See, that's exactly what I set out, and I explained it as in you're going to get, it's almost like you go in to the washing machine as a pair of socks and you end up coming out on your own. And that's the chance that you take, isn't it? You go out and nobody might not come with you. And then you're just going backwards quicker than you're going forwards.
Yeah, that's right. And this car will trick you because you think you've got a big run going. So you pull out to the outside line and that run just absolutely dies after about 2 or 3 cars. So yeah, I can't say I like this package, but I don't know where I'm sitting right now. Maybe 15th, maybe. I don't know
13th,
where I am, but
13th at the moment, sir.
Yeah, I'd be happy with the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt Perezzini said, tell Al he needs to go faster.
Tell Matt Perezzini we miss him.
Well, there you go. Al's just said, Matt, he misses you. Well, Al, we'll let you get back at it, bud. Thank you very much for having a chat with me. You cleared up that situation, so that's great. Let's see if you get that top 10, buddy.
Thanks very much. Thanks for checking in.
No worries. Take care. Okay. So, so race control.
It's exactly what we said.
Yeah, saw the Idris Ashby incident. Saw him off track. Now, generally, if he's not on the racing line, there generally isn't a caution. He wasn't on the racing line. We were on the backstretch, just coming onto the backstretch, and he was on next to the wall. Now, okay, so generally, I speak my mind, and I could end up in a steward's room when I say this, but I didn't see a need for that caution.
I am going to end up in the steward's room with you because I agree, but I think it may have, from what Al was saying, there may have been a little bit of a push from the drivers for caution, maybe because we're coming towards the end of the race. Caution bundles everybody up, gives everybody a chance. and it definitely makes the race more interesting. So race control has enough of a reason there for, good racing. Just throw a little yellow, we'll get some interesting racing, and it doesn't hurt anybody. But I do agree, you might maybe not have needed that caution. I don't think it was absolutely necessary.
No. One of the things we will pick up on very quickly is your group in the front, your Hannigan and your Bradley, did not pit. Everybody else pitted on 67 and 68. Your Bradleys and Hannigans here did not pit. Now, they're taking a chance when the fact that you think about it, the lights are still going to go. They last pitted on 38 and 39. They're only on a 30-lap stint at the moment. If we're going to go at least one, they're only going to have 11, which is only 3 more than the official first stint area, where they went the last time. Are they going to still have tyres left, do we think, when we get to the last 2?
Well, you see, it's a very complex... No, absolutely not. No.
Okay. Okay, so you said no to that one. Fuel.
Fuel is more probable. It is definitely possible, but not taking the tires, I'm going to say, was a mistake that we will see cost them very quickly.
Okay, so you are debating whether or not they made the right decision.
Yeah, it's the tires are almost 20 whole laps older than everybody else behind them. They're going to get swallowed up almost immediately. I don't know if maybe they just didn't see the whole pack go in, maybe didn't have time, maybe the pit lane was closed or something. I don't know what the thought process was there, if I'm totally honest. Nothing against them, maybe just thinking that they've maybe preserved the tires enough, which is possible at Dega, but it's such a big guy. It's 20 laps of unused, a set that's been used for 20 laps.
It's going to be.
I think it's going to cost them pretty quickly.
Yeah. Okay. So now the plan is, if I was Bradley and Hannigan, right, after this yellow that we really do not feel the need for, as well. And at the end of the day, I don't know who was on race control, but probably a good job. If Bradley and Hannigan work together here, right, they can force everyone up to that top line. Now, they can do that by staying where they are, getting pushed, regardless if they're going to be running, which we think they're going to be running out of laps on their tyres. But they don't have to go anywhere, right? People have got to go round them. So if Bradley's running the bottom and Hannigan's running the middle, the only place anybody else has got to go here is at the top. So,
yeah, I mean,
do you get where I'm going here with this? You could just end up sitting there and parking, almost what we say, parking the bus here. But I tell you what we'll do. Let's get this underway. It is Bradley. It is Hannigan. They are starting to there as well. They have started to go, but they've just got to, if they're going to be sensible, they've just got to park the bus. Hannigan, however, did not get a grunt jape off that line. He did not get a good jump. He's got Benson coming up behind him in that 42 here as well. 10 laps to go now, Rhea. Oh, stay where you are. Stay where you are, Bradley. Oh, it's panning out that way. It's panning out.
It does help that...
Oh, he's lost it. He lost it. Bradley lost it, didn't he? Benson's now in front. Waltrip's coming at him as well. Get it together.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not all over the place.
It was such a risky move. I was gonna say, in opposed to what you were saying, it's definitely possible, but all you need is just a single bad exit, and these are just gonna get swallowed up, or there's people being brave enough to make a line on the top, and it's It's so hard. Look, he's already getting pushed quite a bit from the car behind.
Yeah, Benson's locking in now as well. Don't forget Hannigan and Bradley in that 84-77. They've not changed tyres. They have not changed tyres, and now they are leading the pack. How is this one going to pan out? And are these two cars... Oh, Johan! Make a decision! Oh,
that was very close.
Oh,
Actually coming back.
yeah, he managed to get back up.
Bradley's coming back. Yeah, he's back up leading that line.
Yeah, he managed to come out of his line, and he almost got strung up there. Made a decision, was going to go back in, and decided against it. So now the bottom line needs to push here. Now we've got the run from the top line, and we've got Bradley, we've got Gretchen, we've got Jeff Slaughter. I do love that name. Here as well, having a go. It's just a very Slaughter. You know what I mean? I mean, the WWF days with Sergeant Slaughter with his mustache. So the top line now have made their way past that bottom line, and we've got 8 to go.
Yeah, Hannigan's fallen back down all the way down to 8th. It looks like Bradley's down 6th. That they were holding on to it for a little bit, but they are just starting to get swallowed up. There's not too much you can do there.
Oh,
a little bit of contact with the wall.
It's gone. No, Hannigan. Oh.
Yep.
33.
That was just unfortunate. Just a result of, again, the tires making you slower and people pushing you too much, just too much speed against him.
Yeah, watch Roffler's. Oh, there was a gap there.
Yeah, that was good old netcode, it looked like.
Yeah, if we go on to the bumper of Ben Harcombe, I think you can safely say he didn't even make an ounce of contact. We really need that front right. Where are you, front right? Yeah, let's have a look at a better angle of this front right of Ben Harcombe there. Oh, come on.
Well, he's through him.
Yeah.
Physically through him. That was it wasn't even a tire thing. It was good old netcode.
Oh, well, let's face it this way. Now, Hannigan and Bradley have been saved because of the fact, yep, go in, get that tyre, get it changed. And I can tell you that much, get it changed. That had Roethlisberger, Hannigan, Al Corey all involved. And really, it come off the back of Harcombe and that Roethlisberger. So, such a shame. They were going so well. Let's not breed it. We don't want to be a leaky tap in a kitchen. I tell you that much. We want to get it plugged up and get to the end of this race as we're coming with 6 to go. So, let's see how this is going to go here. Lights are on the pace car. 6 to go, Ria. What do we reckon?
Hannigan is still in the pits. I wonder if he ended up having to tow or if there's just too much damage on that car. Hoping to get the aero fixed, maybe. I'm surprised he's not out already, especially with only 6 laps left. And if we get no more cautions, my prediction was right. I said 2 at the beginning. I'll take that.
All right. Take it as a win. Take it as a win. Oh, look at that. Ouch. There's a lot. The 78 went through him as well.
Yeah. He must be.
I'm wondering if
I wonder.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering as well if Hannigan used his fast repair on his earlier pit stop without knowing, and he did.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, he must have.
Yeah, he jumped straight back into the pits as well. He didn't drive it in. He jumped straight in. So, yeah.
So he might still be being towed. He might still be getting towed. He might have that fast repair, but just need to have the car get there first.
As well. Well,
unfortunately, I think even under caution, he's going to lose too many laps.
Absolutely. I agree. C. Benson, this is nerve-wracking. It is. I presume you're Jason Benson's partner. Well, I'm in big trouble with Rafter now. I said go faster, and he wrecked my fault. And he wrecked my fault again. Well, Matt, come on. You know, we're not going to dump it all on you. I was quite excited for getting, green to checkered without an incident, and now we've had 2 in the space of 8 laps. So, yeah, not an ideal scenario, but let's see what happens here. Melton is now out in front, and this is one of the things you love. He is up 21 positions.
Yeah, he must be elated right now. That's got to be a great feeling, coming from almost the complete back of the pack to first place. He's got newish tires. Lap 67 was the pit.
Yeah, they're only barely 8 laps old. Yeah, barely 8 laps.
There's only a couple people with newer tires, and they're all the way in the back right now.
Yep.
Looks like Rothsberg, Hinton, Corey, and Harcum all have newer tires, but that's their 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. So.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm surprised Bradley still hasn't gotten new tires.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, at this point, it would put him towards the back. I guess it's because we only have
5 to go.
We're not gonna have enough laps.
No.
Yep. It would. I had to think about that for a second. That would have been a dumb move to get tires. He'd be stuck at the back of the pack.
So you're Jason's wife. Okay, sorry. I should have probably picked that up by the surname being the same, so my bad on that one. Lights are out. We're going to be going green. We've got 4 to go. Your other half is sitting in 6th place at the moment. So there he is on that bottom in that Camaro. We've got a Mustang and a Camaro. The nearest Toyota Camry is back in 9th with Jared Jackson. So it's a very Ford Camaro front 8, mostly Camaros, mind you. There's 5 of them. So 4 to go. If Melton pulls this off, I don't really know what I would do, to be honest.
At least a couple of donuts for sure.
Yeah, I think he probably just needs to do a bit more than that. I think a couple, I'd be spinning harder than a Kylie Minogue in a music video, I'll tell you that much. So, come on, Melton. Come on, Chris. See what we can do here for the BC
Very
Racing.
Interesting. Head-to-head right at the end. Only 4 laps to go. Are we restarting this lap? I think we are.
Yeah, lights are out. Yeah, we're going to be going. So, in the next 3 minutes and 40-something seconds, we're going to have the winner of Dega. Now, can Carl Gretsch take 2 in a row after his last win at Texas last week? Well, we are going to find out. Hannigan is way down at the moment, 2 laps down. He has rejoined, but he is at the back, unfortunately, for Chris Hannigan. Here we go. This has got to be careful. This has got to be a careful mark. Cannot get this wrong. Cannot get this wrong.
It's a shame. I think, this is going to be a really important restart.
Yeah, you've got to nail it. You've got to nail it. And Melton did. Gretsch did not. Bradley's behind him as well. Bradley last pit on lap 38. Don't forget, he doesn't want this to go. Yeah, he doesn't want to go anymore, because if Bradley's running low on fuel here, the last thing he needs is a green-white checker. Slaughter's coming in to join the pie. Gretsch is getting a push from Crutchley on the outside. Then we've got the 95 of Anderson. Don't forget that pole man there as well. Benson's now taking up the mantle. He's got the chalice between his hands. He is going with it free to go here now as well, round the exit of turn 3, coming into 4. We're going to be bouncing around that tri-oval very soon here. Benson's taking up the mantle. Bradley's just thrown a block. He could have hung himself out there. Melton said, you have, I'm going. And he's off as well. And this is where it all gets iggly, piggly, jiggly, wiggly, because this could go horribly wrong here. And at the moment, we have got Jason Benson, the other half of Mrs. Benson in the YouTube chat, leading this race. 2 to go.
Yeah, they're all starting to get real antsy. You can see everybody going for crazy moves. There was almost no line there, just a big mess of cars.
Oh, Gretsch has been strung. Throw the block in the middle. Oh, 3 to go. 2 to go. Sorry, we're almost 3 wide. Carl.
They're packed up so tight.
Yeah, Gretsch gets strung out as well. Did you see it? He got pushed on the outside there as well and literally left there. Block. You can just see Benson now. If this was a road race, Benson would have been disqualified. He's up, he's down, he's round. We're going to be on the final lap. Final lap, 1 to go. No more cautions coming. Benson throws the block on the bottom lane. Now we've got that top lane as well coming off round 1. On the exit of 2 here as well. And we've got Benson at the bottom with the 52 of Milton. Milton up 19 places. Benson up 4. Now we've got... Blimey! Oh no! Benson's made it through! Slaughter's gonna take it! I mean, it's Slaughter's race! Oh, is Anderson gonna come? Oh!
Gonna have a run.
He's gonna have a run! Crutchley's coming! Crutchley! Oh, he stopped him! Anderson's gonna get it! Anderson's gonna get it! Oh, it was Slaughter! Oh! Oh! John JC's on his roof.
There's cars upside down. There's cars in the wall.
Oh!
That was, I think, almost as close as you could have gotten.
We got Mrs. Benson asking what happened. Hold on. Oh no, that had already gone on, hadn't it? I think. Yep. Hold on, I will find it for you, Mrs. Benson. We need to get back to Jason and how he ended up there. Bear with. So there he was at the front. Milton alongside. There goes the 16 in front of him. And then we start getting a wreck effect. Jason goes down, manages to hold the car, but we think at that point it was all about not being able to keep control. And he did keep control, but ended up dropping back. So they all started a little bit of a wreck there, and he ends up there, unfortunately. And then we had Slaughter come over the line here as well, which was incredibly close, not going to lie. But that, Rhea, was an ending and a half.
That was crazy. Unofficial results from my timing board, I'm seeing between the top 3.04 of a gap between them all. It's I don't know how you could have been much closer.
I tell you what, I honestly thought Corey was going to get this. He had such a run then. Look at the block that Slaughter threw on him.
Yep.
Oh, yikes. And then Crotchley went to the other side to try and hold his run. There is no way that this is just unbelievable.
Just when you think that the two of them have got it, they all come back.
Yeah, JC's coming as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is, on my score, I've got JC as a winner. I'm going to bring the results up in a minute and we'll have a look. But I've got John Campbell as the winner.
That's what I have.
I tell you what.
I did say unofficial results just because it was so close. I'm not quite sure if the timing was perfect.
Was it JC? It was.
Yep.
Campbell got it. He did get it with Anderson and then Slaughter. Wow.
Right on the bumper. Yep. That there is no more than 0.02 seconds between each of those cars.
Yeah. So we'll have a chat with JC. We'll have a chat with you. And we'll have a chat with you. But that generally now just absolutely unbelievable running. But here is the results that we have currently at the moment. John Campbell is your winner by 0.022. Anderson in second, Slaughter in third. Then you got Gretsch. Crutchley got his top 10 He's in 5th. Matt Harmon, Thomas Hood Jr., Roethlisberger 8th, Cat Knight Hinton in 10th, Harcum in 11th, Jason Benson coming over the line in 12th, Sean Bradley, Jared Jackson, Justin Bentley, Al Corey, Chris Melton, and Morris Bogan there down in 18th. Grant Barker, Chris Hannigan, Pete Dillon, Iris Aspie in 22nd. Then we've got Barton, Hanlon, and Jester did not take to the line. Let's have a chat with your eventual winner. He snuck it through the eye of the needle, did John Campbell. He has gone and taken the victory, gaining 16 places on his start position. JC, how are you, buddy?
In disbelief. The seas opened on the last lap again, and I had the chance to follow Nodge or cut to the inside. I said, I'll risk the inside, and I got there. I did not expect, I was expecting maybe 4th after the wreck, but to get to the front was fascinating.
Well, that, dear sir, is an ending and a half, isn't it? And it was just incredible that, well, you finished up on your roof by the looks of it, JC. I'm not going to lie as well.
Yeah. I said you could congratulate me at my memorial. I think it would kill me. But, good birthday present. My birthday today. I'm really old, and we don't celebrate them at this age, but it is the anniversary of the day I was born.
So, 21 again, JC.
Yeah, 21 times 3.
So
it's the third time being 21.
Yeah, that works for me, John. And let's just go with that. We don't want to talk. You know what I mean?
Buddy.
No worries, buddy. I've got you. You know what I mean? But from your race perspective, you know, at one point I'm looking at the score sheet. I'm seeing John Campbell down towards the back end, and I'm thinking, this ain't the day. And then that caution comes out on 66 that we still feel was not needed. However, the caution on 74 clearly was. Did you think you could win?
No, I never go into a race thinking I could win. And when I had the contact with Morris halfway through and I went a lap down, I thought, well, that's it. The way the guys were racing, I thought we'd stay clean and maybe not even get a go. So a lot of discussion on how our fuel's going to go, who's got enough to make it to the end. And, of course, that's all moot when the yellow comes out. But, yeah, it was an unexpected result. I mean, as I said, I don't expect to win any of these, so anything I get is terrific.
Well, John, for me, I've had a great time, partly because of the fact I've just sat here and I've witnessed your second win on a broadcast. So, for me, I'm made up here, son. So, at the end of the day, mate, you go and enjoy your birthday, enjoy your victory, go and stick a kanga on the Barbie. I don't know if you do that, John, to be honest. Maybe not.
But, we do, yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
So, you know, go and enjoy it, mate. Is there anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Well, all the guys I thought raced well tonight, and the admins do a great job. So, yeah, shout out to the whole league. It's a great, fun league to be in.
Absolutely. Well, John, you take care, bud. Have a great 21st birthday. 3 times already. Have a good one, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
Take care.
See you later.
All right, now we're going to have a chat with your second place man as well. Your pole sitter. He almost had it. He dropped down to 7th. He come back in that 95 machine to the run down to the line. The door was open. He got burgled right close to it as well. And Fred Anderson, you missed out by a cat's whisker, sir.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a great race. I'm sure for the viewers it might have been a little bit boring in the middle, but we were trying to plan things. I burned up all my fuel in the first half, so I'm kind of thankful that caution came out.
Yeah, that was a lap 66 caution. For us in the booth, we didn't really see the need for that. I think because Iris wasn't on the racing line at the point, and they were down on the apron, Fred. So in conjunction with rules that we've seen before, I don't really feel that needed the caution on 66. If we didn't have the caution on 66, we wouldn't have got the caution on 74, which punched the fill up for that run to the end. Did you think, though, once you got settled into that pack, after the second caution that you had a chance of winning?
Yeah, yes, definitely. I felt like we had a really strong car, and I had a good run at it right before that last caution. And then I had a good run in the second and just got shuffled back all the way down the apron. Everybody went past me after that restart. And we just found a way around the top side and snuck in.
Yeah. From your point of view, right, how does it feel to lose it on the line? Like, you're so close.
So close. What's even crazier about it is, for some reason, I lagged. I blinked out, and so I couldn't see any other cars for the last, I don't know, half a second, 2 seconds. So I thought I won. I thought, oh, great, I won. And I came back. I'm like, no, I'm not in the lead. Then I looked at the replay, and yeah, everybody passed me. I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, well, it was very close, dear sir, very close, and I thought you were well up there as well. I did get a little bit worried when you started dropping back, but you come back through here as well, and, unbelievable drive, Fred, so well done to you, buddy. Anyone you want to give a shout-out to before I let you go?
No, just our team, and so MNT Racing, it's great. Zach, who's in this league, shown me a lot of stuff. I want to thank the race winner, and I want to thank the organization for putting this on, Triple Bypass. It was a great, clean, fun race. I actually thought we were going to go green the whole way, and it was starting to heat up, but yeah, I'm really appreciative. Thank you.
Awesome, Fred. Well, thank you very much, young sir. Take care, and we'll hopefully maybe chat to you again.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
And you. Well, there you go, guys, as well. I think you can fully understand at the end. Who do I blame? Not really sure on that one, Mrs. Benson, to be honest. It did look a little bit... There was a lot of cars involved. Probably no one. James, you were so excited. I know, as Rhea pointed out. Do get excited when we get near the finish. Thank you very much. Again. Yeah, thank you very much for that. Look, that alone was an end, right? And I think for JC to come through, did a splendid job, up 16 places. It's incredible. Birthday, 63 years of age, taking a win at Dega, gaining 16 spots. I'd be made up with that.
Must be a great birthday for him.
Yeah, I think so as well. So what do we think of that one, Rhea? Did you enjoy that?
That was, he said it was a little boring towards the middle, and I have to disagree. I think green flag racing at Dega is actually pretty exciting, and then that finish was just absolutely insane. I don't think any of us could have predicted a finish as close or as hectic as that was.
Yeah, I guess not. And but it was absolutely incredible there as well, and definitely worth watching it back if you are a driver and you've tuned in. It was absolutely unbelievable. The end, incredible. JC, what a birthday. Amazing from Fred. Jeff Slaughter just missed it out as well, the Canadian, so tough one for him. But yeah, overall, an exciting race. So there you go, guys. That is the Triple Bypass Racing League Galfay Music 212, round 4 from Dega. Thank you to everybody that has joined us here this evening as well. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells, because the TCRs are back tomorrow night. So stay tuned and keep an eye on that one. But for now, guys, that's going to be it, I think. It's been an incredible evening. It's been great having Rhea alongside me in the booth. But it's time for this old man to go to bed. So from myself, James Parfitt, and Rhea Subra up here in the booth, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.